Hey, second graders. I am back with another math lesson for the week. And so this math lesson, we're going to start up with our warm up, but I want to let you know that this math lesson is a little bit different than the last one where we were talking about 4 addends. This one has a lot to do with geometry. And so that's really the study of shapes and how they kind of work together. The purpose of this lesson is to really think about comparing different polygons, okay? And so we're going to talk about that word polygon and what it means, and we're going to look at some different polygons, okay? But first, let's just warm up our math brains. So make sure the things that you need for your supplies, and look, I even remembered my eraser this time, okay? But let me remind you of what you might need. So you need something to write on. So either a whiteboard like mine, a piece of paper with some writing utensils, whether that be markers or crayons or pencils, and then some space to work, right? So at least enough paper to do some of the work, or a whiteboard. Make sure you have an eraser with it. Maybe you have an old school chalkboard at home, something that you can write with, okay? So that you're staying with me, okay? So take a minute, pause the video if you don't have what you need yet, and go grab it, and then meet me back here, okay? The very first thing we're gonna do to warm up today is just go back and think about ballpark estimates. Remember, a ballpark estimate is just like a really good guess of what the answer will be based on doing some rounding. So going to the nearest 10 to get that answer. So your very first problem here says 48 plus 46. Okay, so go ahead and write that down, 48 plus 46. And when I do my ballpark estimate, okay, and I'm gonna turn my camera here just a little bit for you. There we go. All right, 48 plus 46. So I look at the number 48. 48 is between 40 and 50, but it's closer to which one? Right, it's closer to 50. 46. 46 is again between 40 and 50, but it's closer to which one? Right, it's closer to 50. So that's a lot easier to add up. So we're getting an estimate. 50 plus 50 is what? Right, 100. If you can do 5 plus 5 is 10, then you just pop that 0 on the end. Bonus points. I want you to take a minute. I'm not going to do it with you, but take a minute. I want you to get the real answer too. Tell me what is 48 plus 46. Get the real answer and think about how close is it to 100. Pause the video and do that now. Okay, now we're going to do the next one. Ballpark estimate 13 plus 59. So go ahead and take a second to write that down. And again, we're going to look at what tens it's between. So 13 is between 10 and 20, but it's closer to which one? Good, it's closer to 10. Okay, and 59 is between 50 and 60. So it's between the 10 that it's in and the next 10, 50 and 60, but it's closer and really close to 60. 10 plus 60, well, 60 and 10 more, right? Think about that number grid. You'd be on 60, you'd hop down a box. 60, good, 70. And if you can do 6 plus 1 is 7, then you just pop that 0 on the end. Again, I'm going to challenge you. Now take a pause from the video and really add up 13 plus 59 and see how close you are to 70. While you do that, I'm going to write the next set of ballpark estimates that we're going to do, okay? So go ahead and take a minute. You should be working on that problem for me while I write down our next ones. Look, did you notice my eraser? Are you proud of me? Okay, here it is. These are going to get big. You think you can handle it? I know you can. All right, here we go. The next problem that I have here for you, just look at the top one. 76 plus 188. I told you it was going to get tricky. 76 plus 188. Okay, remember we're just going to start with a ballpark estimate. So the same thing that we did with the last ones. Okay, 76 is between 70 and 80, but it's closer to, right, it's closer to 80. 188, well, what am I supposed to do with this, Mrs. Green? The same thing, check out that 10 spot. Okay, here's the 10 spot. Okay, 180, so there's the 10 spot, do you hear it? So 88 is between 80 and 90, but 88 is closer to 90. So we have to write 190. That 100 spot doesn't change, right? Now this is tricky. How am I going to figure this out? 80 plus 190, those numbers are so big, okay? Well, you have your hundreds here, you have your ones, and you have your tens, right? If it's hard to do going side to side, you need to stack the numbers up and down, vertical, okay? Stack those numbers. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to put 80 underneath 190 for you. Why did I put the zeros and the 9 and the 8 above and below and nothing where the 1 was? Why did I do it like that? Take a minute and think. Why are they lined up this way? Yeah, you have to keep the ones digits together, the tens digits together, and the hundreds digits together. This is what I always say. You cannot put the tens digits where the hundreds are and the hundreds where the ones are and the ones where the tens are. It's like boys going in girls' bathrooms and girls going in boys' bathrooms. It's just not the way you do it. You have to keep the tens together. Keep the ones together. Keep the hundreds together, okay? So now that we have them lined up vertically, okay, we have zeros here. 9 plus 8, use your doubles plus 1 facts. 8 and 8 is 16 plus 1 more is 17. Okay, now I can't write 17 down here. I have to put again, keep them together. Keep the tens, the ones place for that number, 17. And then carry that 1 up here. 1 plus 1 is 2. So my ballpark estimate here is 270. That took a little more work than the last ones that we did, right? Because they were bigger numbers. That's okay. Now I'm going to challenge you. Do the real problem. Line up those numbers just like I told you to line them up here vertically. Pause the video, do that, see how close it is to 270, which was our answer. Then we'll work on this one. I'm changing colors here. Okay, the next problem here is 85 plus 165. The reason this one is a little trickier is because of these 5s, so I want to make sure you know what to do with those 5s when you do a ballpark estimate. Okay, so 85 is between 80 and 90, but it's closer to neither one, right? 5 is directly in the middle. When you have a 5, you always go up to the next 10. You always go to the higher one, okay? So 85 is not closer to 80 or 90, but because it's a 5, we go up to 90. That same rule is going to apply here to 165. 165 is between 160 and 170, but because there's a 5 here, we're going to go up to 170. Okay. Again, these are tricky, so we're going to try to line them up vertically, up and down. Make sure you keep the tens with the tens, the ones with the ones, the hundreds with the hundreds. 0 and 0 is 0. 7 plus 9, I could do a doubles plus 2, right? 7 and 7 is 14, plus 2 more, right? 7, 8, 9, so 14, 15, 16. Put my 6 down, carry my 1 up to the top. 1 plus 1 is 2. 260 is my estimate. And now I'm going to challenge you again to go ahead and figure this out. Write them up and down vertically. Okay? Take a few minutes to do that. Parents, if you're watching, hello. these are great practice problems to do at any point. So it'd be really great morning work if when your kids come down for breakfast, or when they're getting ready to start their math time for the day, go ahead and take some time to warm them up with ballpark estimates for 2 and 3 digit numbers. And feel free to challenge their brains doing 2 3-digit numbers. Have them do a ballpark estimate and then the real answer. Maybe a couple of them, like 3 or 4, first thing in the morning, like have breakfast, get dressed, and then that can be like their morning work, what gets their mind ready for the day. So it's a great option, and you can think of any numbers you want, which is the best part. You can throw them a couple on a sticky note, a couple different sticky notes, and put them even around the house and let them find them. Say there's 5 pink sticky notes. You need to do all 5 before you can go on your iPad, or you need to do all 5 problems before you do your video games or before you go outside today, whatever it might be. So have it be a little bit of movement as well. So a couple of ideas for you as you get moving on your math schedule for this time, okay? So I told you in the beginning of this that we were going to look at shapes. So I actually pulled out Charlotte's shape puzzle here, okay, because I wanted you to look at, these are when you're first learning about shapes, these are kind of what you see all the time as these shapes. So when you think of a square, when I'm teaching Charlotte, who's just 2, about a square, this is the square that I show her, right? Or if I show her a triangle, I always draw it like this, okay? I don't really mention that word polygon to her because she's 2, right? She's very small to hear that word. But the truth is, a polygon is any closed shape that has straight lines, okay? A closed shape that has straight lines. And I'm actually going to give you a look at my computer here in just a second to see what your math journal would have said here, because I want to show you. I'm searching for it. Is that okay? I want to show you what they would have shown you in your math journal, okay? So let me try to find it. There we go. Okay, so polygons are really any shape that is closed, okay, with straight lines. And so when we look at some of these, they're asking us to think about if these would be polygons, okay? So I'm gonna turn my camera here, okay? Hello, I'm so close to you. I'm gonna turn it here so you can see my computer screen here, okay? And what you notice is that a shape like this is open. See how it has a little opening? And a shape like this has extras. And these are curved, right? And it can't have anything that goes through it. So those are all examples of non-polygons. Those are not polygons, okay? All the shapes here are not polygons, okay? Our circle and things, okay? But when we think of polygons, we think of kind of the traditional ones. Today I want to think about what a hexagon and what a pentagon would look like, okay? So traditionally, if I asked you to think about a pentagon, most of you would draw a house looking thing, okay? Where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. Okay, a 5-sided shape is a pentagon, okay? Pent means 5. And for the most part, if I asked you to draw a hexagon, hexagons have 6 sides, okay? Most of you would draw something that looked like this with 6 sides, okay? And you would notice those. So you would be able to notice a pentagon, traditional pentagon, 5 sides, and a traditional hexagon, 6 sides, okay? But what we forget sometimes is that they don't have to look the same. As long as they're closed and have straight edges, they are pentagons and hexagons. So I want to challenge you in your math journal this week. It would have asked you to draw, Okay, so this is your task. Draw different looking pentagons. Remember, that means 5 sides, and hexagons. Okay, so instead of just those traditional ones that I showed you, I want you to challenge yourself to draw some different ones. So I'm going to try a pentagon over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and a hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Those don't look like your traditional hexagons and pentagons, but when I count my sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if I have 6 sides, then it is a hexagon. Okay. So in the next few minutes here, my job task to you is to draw some different pentagons and hexagons, okay? And then my final task for you is going to be to take some time to try to draw, to try to use things that you have in your house, tools. If I were you, if you were at school, we would have been doing this with mini marshmallows and toothpicks, okay? But you might not have that at home, so just grab whatever you have. I have raisins and like toothpick things that you pick out, like floss from your teeth. So that's what I'm using. I'm using raisins and these little toothpicks. And you can make shapes, okay? So each raisin here is a vertex, okay, or a corner, all right? And then I have my straight edges to help me make my polygons. So I just made a triangle, but I'm challenging you to, once you draw them, then try to make them with something. So if you have fruit snacks, those work great because they're sticky. Toothpicks obviously are great. Like I said, I had these. You can use dry pasta noodles. So if you have like long pasta noodles at your house, or even like the little tubes, you could use those. That and like a fruit snack will work great. You could get glue involved if you wanted to glue like Cheerios or something. Even glue Cheerios on a page and then connect them with a pencil or a marker. That would work. You could use string or ribbon. Maybe you have ribbon and things in your basement from Christmas time. Whatever it is that you're wanting to use. But I'm going to challenge you, try to make hexagons, 6-sided shapes, and pentagons, 5-sided shapes that look different than the traditional ones, okay? So those are kind of my tasks for you this week with these math lessons. So one is what we worked on the warm-up, so ballpark estimates and adding, vertically adding up numbers that are 2 and 3 digits, okay? Try that this week. And then 2 is to draw hexagons and pentagons that are not traditional looking, okay, that are closed with straight lines. So you might need a ruler to help you draw them, or some sort of straight edge. And then also to use something around your house. So go search that you can use to kind of put those shapes together to show different things. And feel free to take pictures and email them to Mrs. Demas and myself. And we would love to see what you used to make those shapes and what kinds of hexagons and pentagons you were able to make. If you have questions, feel free to rewatch the video or go ahead and ask us away. Have a great week. Happy math learning. We'll talk to you guys later.